Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to Storytime. Today we're on chapter 7, and chapter 7 was published January 22nd, 2022 at inbloom1111.blog. Chapter 7. He told me about how months before we started talking, he had told a friend of his, "I love that girl and I'm going to go tell her right now." He would tell me how he's loved me forever, that he dreamt of me before he even knew me. He told me that he didn't know why, but he always pictured me in a white dress. He would say that I was sacred to him, that our love was sacred, that he never even came close to loving someone the way he loves me. See, on some level, he knew something long before I did. The love was so immense, the connection so strong, and the potential so real that I started to freak out internally. It would physically hurt to be away from him. I didn't understand it. I'm not a codependent kind of person. Quite the opposite, in total truth. I'm fiercely independent, always have been, and much prefer it that way. I often had a hard time dating and in relationships because I hate that feeling of someone claiming me, like some sort of prize you get after playing a game at a carnival. I hated feeling trapped, like I had to sacrifice my liberty for love. It never felt right to me, and I fight it to this day. Unless you're my father, you're not claiming me. Sorry. It wasn't like that with him. Not at all. He loved me in a way I had never been loved before. In such a way that opened up the whole world to me. Our love knew no boundaries. I now believe that the only limits it could ever encounter are the ones that we would place on it ourselves. My mind couldn't grasp what was happening. It tried. I became all fear with fleeting moments of an underlying knowing that there were other forces at work here. That whatever was happening between he and I was so much bigger than me. It was my instinct to run. Out of self-preservation, self-defense. All self. Self-centeredness in the extreme. All fear. This person had the potential to hurt me. To really hurt me. In ways that I wasn't sure I would be able to bounce back from. I had to run away before he did. Push him away. Burn it down. The universe wrote fiction in us. It's called fear. Christopher Poindexter. I would decide I needed a few days away here and there. I would go out to my dad's and spend time with my family. All the while, nearly every waking moment, I would be thinking about him. I couldn't even escape him in my dreams, trying to understand what was happening to me. I remember him texting me during one of these times. "Take your space, just please don't run away too far." My heart sank because he knew. He knew the truth of what I was doing and why, and he was still there. I couldn't run from him no matter how hard I tried. I told him not to worry, that I would always come back, and I meant it. Imagine the lock on a safe, a mighty, large, and complicated safe. In this safe is every dream you've ever had, the answer to every question that's ever haunted you, the exact ingredient needed to fill the void that's been within you forever. If you've lost the combination, you're going to be standing there a long time trying to get in. Every moment I had with him like this, I felt like I had figured out one more number in the combination with each crumble of my ego. I would get one more click closer to remembering how to open it with every demon faced. It would take a while more though. Early on, I started to see the hawk too. He began to come to each of us separately and together as well. Eventually, we ended up naming him. It was only right considering that he had become so familiar to us. Henry. Sometimes he would be with his partner, Henrietta. We would go crazy individually, collectively too, trying to figure out what it meant, what he was trying to tell us. Hawk denotes union with all that is. The hawk is a bird of the heavens, arranging the changes necessary to prompt our spiritual growth. Having this power animal can be bittersweet. When accepting its presence in your life, you will be asked to surrender and give up anything that doesn't honor the integrity of all life. Whether it's an idea, feeling, or action, although hard work is involved, the rewards to be reaped are great. That summer was the best of my life. Love had found me. Every day it grew by leaps and bounds, slowly smothering the fear. I met his kids and his family. He met mine. He comes from a good, solid family. They were great to my daughter and I. Being around them felt a lot like being around my own family. It was a funny, warm, laid-back environment. A lot like how I grew up, with a few minor differences. It was nice. He invited my daughter and I to their family vacation at the beach. We were able to make it for the last few days. Sorry. My nose is getting itchy. The one night we had planned to go out on a nice date, but couldn't work it out. Sorry, guys. I'm telling you, my head would try so hard to mess things up, and it often did a fantastic job. It's getting too good now. Time to fuck it up, for no apparent reason. The fear would grip me in its usual slick way, without me noticing. I was disappointed that we couldn't go on the nice date we had planned. I didn't tell him that, but by this time I didn't have to. We always knew what the other was feeling. We could talk in the morning and I would be happy, but if that changed, he would know. He would say it before I even got a chance to. We ended up having an even better night than I could have imagined. We got pizza and talked out the kink of whatever was happening in my head. We went to a late meeting where he ended up speaking. It was a small meeting, but a good one. We went for a walk on the beach, laid on the sands, watched the stars. He could talk about the universe and its vastness forever, I think, and I could listen to it endlessly without tiring. I adored him. In spite of myself, my icy heart thawing in his hands. We started play fighting, getting sand everywhere. Went back to the house, made love. He was my ultimate best friend. We could act like children one minute and mature, intelligent adults the next. He loved all the things about me that were overlooked or disliked by the others. He accepted me for precisely who I was and loved me for it. The love was so safe and consuming, its essence influencing every move I made, every decision I would make. It really was sacred, truly. We would soon learn that it was so sacred that I couldn't tolerate impurities very well, not until and unless they were dug from the dirt and brought to light. In this way, the love was quite divine. Consequently, it was both a blessing and a curse. It was a blessing and a curse. I was sober probably 12 or 13 years, maybe at this time, in the beginning stages of our relationship. And it's like you don't, it's like a relationship is the ultimate test of where you are in your growth, right? Because your heart is on the line. I know for me, at that time, all those feelings I was having for him and all the other things that were happening around the relationship was really freaking me out. Because, like I wrote, this could destroy me. This type of love could destroy me. And it can only destroy you if you care that much, right? So I was scared to death, and I did run. I was the runner in the beginning. And made it, and it wasn't just with him. I made it really difficult for people to just love me. I had this belief so deep down that I was unworthy. And so I was scared. My heart was closed, and I was scared to death. But you wouldn't know that from looking at me, right? Because I was always running. I was always running. So I never stopped long enough to see what was happening, to feel what was happening with me. Feelings, any kind of emotion, or run. Distractions galore. I couldn't handle depth. I couldn't handle depth. How sad is that? Makes me sad because I see so many people living like that. And now, all these years later, I wouldn't trade the depth that I've gained through some of the most horrendous experiences. I wouldn't trade it for the world. So, yes, that's all. I've been forgetting to say the songs that go with this chapter, so I'll write it in the description below. Check them out if you want to. Also, there will be a short that corresponds to this chapter, as usual. That's very fulfilling to me to make those, and I hope you guys like them. Um, I guess that's all. Just thank you. Thank you for listening. It's like an honor that you would come here and listen to my story. So, thank you so much. And thank you for liking the video and subscribing and supporting me. And yeah, let me know what you think. Bye guys. Thank you.